of a kind for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart beats back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lever, everyone becomes a poet. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Only the dead have seen the end of war. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is be ruled by evil men. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to eat what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. According to Greek mythology, humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, Zeus split them into 2 separate parts, condemning them to spend their lives in search of their other halves. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that I know nothing. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. Love is a serious mental disease. Emanate by your interiors. Good people do not need laws to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The measure of man is what he does with power. Ignorance, the root and stem of every evil. I am trying to think, don't confuse me with facts. And if women are expected to do the same work as men, we must teach them the same thing. And when one of them meets the other half, the actual half of himself, whether he be a lover of youth or a lover of another sort, the pair are lost in an amazement of love and friendship and intimacy, and one will not be out of the other's sight, as I may say, even for a moment. There is truth in wine and children. Those who tell the stories rule society. Human behavior flows from 3 main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. The madness of love is the greatest of heaven's blessings. Education is teaching our children to desire the right things. Courage is knowing what not to fear. There are 3 classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. In politics, we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician or the most eloquent one. You should not honor men more than truth. There are 2 things a person should never be angry at: what they can help, and what they cannot. When men speak ill of thee, lie so as nobody may believe them. The beginning is the most important part of the work. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. A house that has a library in it has a soul. Those who are able to see to beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. How can you prove whether at this moment we are sleeping, and all our thoughts are a dream, or either we are awake, and talking to one another in the waking state. Necessity is mother of invention. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. That is not the worst that can happen to men. Love is simply the name for the desire and pursuit of the whole. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body. But knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so they that have the least wit are greatest babblers. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and election. Character is simply habit long continued. Musical innovation is full of the state, for when modes of music change, the fundamental laws of the state always change with them. You, Ray my star, a stargazer too, and I wish that I were heaven, with a billion eyes to look at you. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. We do not act rightly because we are excellent. In fact, we achieve excellence rightly. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. The soul takes nothing with her to the next world but her education and her culture. At the beginning of the journey to the next world, one's education and culture can either provide the greatest assistance, or else act as the greatest burden to the person who has just died. Love is born into every human. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. It tries to make one out of two and heal the wound of human nature. I thought to myself, I am wiser than this man. Neither of us probably knows anything that is really good, but he thinks he has knowledge. Do not think I have. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. Writing is the geometry of the soul. I would teach children music, physics, and philosophy. But most importantly music, for the patterns in music and all the arts are the keys to learning. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100 men. Nothing beautiful without struggle. For this feeling of wonder shows that you are a philosopher, since wonder is the only beginning of philosophy. Poets utter great and wise things which they do not themselves understand. Love is the pursuit of the whole. Have you ever sensed that our soul is immortal and never dies? If a man can be properly dead to love something, it must be clear that he feels affection for it as a whole, and does not love part of it to the exclusion of the rest. Any man may easily harm, but not every man can do good to another. The first and best victory is to conquer self. To be afraid of death is only another form of thinking that one is wish when one is not. It is to think that one knows what one does not know. No one knows with regard to death whether it is not really the greatest blessing that can happen to man. But people dread it as though they were certain it is the greatest evil. The last days of Socrates. For to fear death, my friends, is only to think ourselves wise without really being wise, for it is to think that we know what we do not know. For no one knows whether death may not be the greatest good that can happen to man. And so, when a person meets the half that is his everyone, whatever his orientation, whether it is to young men or not, then something wonderful happens. The two are struck from their senses by love, by a sense of belonging to one another, and by even for a moment. True friendship can exist only between equals. Love is the name for our pursuit of wholeness, for our desire to be complete. Books are immortal sense defying their size. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. Man is being in search of meaning. How could they see anything but the shadows if they were never allowed to move their heads? The soul takes flight to the world that is invisible, but there arriving she is sure of bliss and forever dwells in paradise. Either we shall find what it is we are seeking, or at least we shall free ourselves from the persuasion that we know what we do not know. No one can ever make a bad man at peace with himself. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion has no hold on the mind. Therefore do not use compulsion, but let early education be a sort of amusement. You will then be better able to discover the child's natural bent. No human thing is of serious importance. False words are not evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. The society we have described can never grow into a reality or see the light of day, and there will be no end to the troubles of states, or indeed, my dear Lacan, of humanity itself, till philosophers become rulers in this world, or till those we know called kings and rulers really and truly become philosophers, and political power and philosophy thus come into the same hands. He was a wise man who invented that. All I really know is the extent of my own ignorance. He who loves touches not works in darkness. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. A dog has the soul of a philosopher. The difficulty, my friends, is not in avoiding death, but in avoiding unrighteousness. For that runs faster than death. What if the man could see beauty itself, pure, unalloyed, stripped of mortality, and all its pollution, stains, and vanities, unchanging, divine, the man becoming in that communion, the friend of God, himself immortal? Would that be a life to disregard? In practice, people who study philosophy too long become very odd birds, not to say thoroughly vicious. Will even those who are the best of them are reduced by philosophy to complete uselessness as members of society. That is what education should be, said, the art of orientation. Educators should devise simplest and most effective methods of turning minds around.